everyone, this is T, and today I'm going to show you how I made my roses using the Flower Shop cartridge. So first thing you want to do is cut out 4 of the same size petals from the Flower Shop, and I used this I think at 2.5 inches. I've made them at 2, 2.5, 1 3/4, I think as high up as 3. Also what you need are some inks. Today I am going to show you using the Tim Holtz Distressed Inks and Spiced Marmalade. I've also used these Versacolors. I've used the Cat's Eyes, you know, just a variety of inks. It doesn't really matter which one. But I do find that using a smooth cardstock works better than a textured cardstock. You're also going to need the glue gun, a pair of scissors, and some type of a tool that has a long neck on it. Doesn't really matter which. So after you've cut your petals, the next thing that you want to do is ink your edges. And you can ink them as far down as you would like. But for this flower here that I did, I just did the edges like you see so that I have a couple of different colors showing through my flower. The yellow cardstock and then the orange. And then you want to be sure that you do both sides. After you do that, with one flower, cut this little tab off. With your other 3 flowers, I want you to use the tab and glue your flowers closed like this, keeping equal distance between these as you have all the way around. So let's get all these glued. And you got to be careful with the glue gun because it's really easy to burn your fingers. I could show you some of my... Oops. Let's get those strings out. Okay, so now after you've gotten those glued, what I want you to do is go down and cut down each side of the petal almost to the center. Even that one that you glued shut, just snip it, but don't snip it so much that you unglue what you've glued. That makes sense. Unglue what you glued. Anyhow. And everybody give a shout out to my husband. He's standing here helping me, holding all the little 4-legged daughters in place to keep from jumping in my lap, and also looking in the camera to be sure that everything is centered well. Hi, husband. That's your sign to say hi back. Yeah, they don't see a wave though. Okay, and then on the one that you are not gluing shut, you do the same thing. You just cut all the way down. So this pet flower here is going to be the center of your flower, as you see here, and then the other 3 are going to form your outer layers. So first thing we want to do is we're going to reserve this and go to the next and curl all of your petals back. Now this particular flower, I'm saying back, but in reality when I turn this over, these are going to be curled forward. And you see how I'm pinching as I curl, getting that as realistic as possible too. And we're going to leave this one alone because that's going to be our center. So just curl all of these back. And you can see that I'm using my thumbs quite a bit. I start by holding it right into the middle of the petal, starting kind of in the corner top and curling back. And I know, you know, I'm bad about taking it closer to me and you can't really see it in the camera. Sorry about that. So see how I'm pinching it to get those two to come together in almost a V-like? So keep going. And normally at this stage I would turn the camera off and continue doing it on my own, but I think because this is the hardest part of this flower to make, I'll let you keep watching as I go through all of the petals. See? So let's just keep it going. And if you're doing this right, by the time you're done making 2 or 3 flowers, your thumb here is going to hurt, as is your thumb over here. Okay, so now let's come back here. And with your petals turned up, what I want you to do is start over here in the corner. I'm going to use this one because it's a little bit longer. And roll. I want you to roll this into a dome or a cone, or so get it started, and then just use your fingers to roll this into a cone. And you want it fairly tight, since this is the very center of your rose. Take your glue gun, add a little dot there, and curl it over. Okay? So now once you have that very center piece done, what you're going to do is skip a petal, come to your middle petal, put a little glue here at the base, and bring it up and around. I too want this one to be tight, since again it's the center of my rose. Okay, so now I'm going to just apply, I'm going to tear this to give it a little bit more room. Just apply glue to the center of the other 3. Again, start with your middle, bring it up, but don't do it as tight. Bring it up and glue all of those into place so that it looks like this. Okay, once that is secured and glued well, let me put the lid on this and get it out of my way. I want you to cut off maybe 1/4 of an inch, 1/8 of an inch off the bottom of this. And the reason for that is you want it to sit flat inside of your next set of petals. Okay, now we're going to take this, and I usually don't set this down because depending on how you glued it, it can easily open up. So hold it in your fingers, put glue in the center of this flower, and as you can see, I'm kind of coming up the petals a little bit because with this being my second layer, I don't want them to be fully open. So I'm going to stick this right into the center. Hopefully you can see that. And I'm going to pull my petals up like this. And let's get rid of all of these strings. So just kind of position them the way you like. Okay, now take your second petal and put a circle of glue on it. And now when you lay this down, center this petal here in the center of these 2 petals, also known as alternating your petals. Glue it down and bring it up so that your base is getting nice and tight. You see how I'm pressing that bottom? Okay, now the final. And I'm going right in the center there. And again, I'm going to alternate my petals. And now, as I am doing this, I'm just going to play with my petals and get the look that I want. And it looks pretty good. What do you think? Well, I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial today on how I make my roses. Hope this inspired you and you make some of your